Hi, everyone. My name is Eva Rosa Santos, and I'm the founder of Women Leadership in Angola. We are based here in Luanda, Angola, Africa, and this is our first event with our first forum of female leadership, diversity, and inclusion. This is the pre-launch, so we are so happy to start this new phase of our project, also bringing and continuing to bringing more awareness about these topics, not just female leadership, but also diversity and inclusion. So what is going to happen today, because it's the pre-launch, we'll have an amazing conversation where we'll have Marina Nani, Emmanuel Paim, Benjamin Bacassi, and Bob Arston. They will talk about the role, and they will have not the role of female leadership in organizations and their views. And yes, it is and will be a conversation only with men, because we also need their perspectives about these topics. I want to share that this is an amazing moving forward, because it's also the first time that we are doing this in English. So to have more people to listen to us, to follow us, and also to have in common, in reality, what does that mean? What means female leadership? What means diversity? What means inclusion? And we believe that when we talk and we act related to these topics, we'll have a more gender and equity society, and therefore we all can win. So this is my invitation for you. And now I will have the pleasure to invite our dear friend, Marina Nani, that is also our media partner with Rich Woman magazine and Sovereign magazine and Rich Men magazine. So Marina, thank you for accepting our invitation and to be the host of this amazing conversation. And please share with us and all these amazing topics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. I want to say that it's not long ago, actually, it's a decade ago, when I've been visiting a couple of countries in Africa, and I was telling everyone that they need to stay still for a moment and remember that actually Homo sapiens is coming from Africa. For 200,000 years, we've been building what we called humanity. And about at the same time, I've been invited to present the official report on gender pay gap. And it was in front of decision makers. So for me, it was a great opportunity to talk about women. But at some point, I had to disagree with what I supposed to present. That report was saying that it is okay. We are going to close the pay gap, but it's going to take us 217 years. And I stopped for a moment in front of all these very important people. And instead of presenting the report, I asked them, do you have 217 years? Because I don't. And almost a decade later, I'm still knocking on doors. I'm still asking people to come and build this road, this road we are building for women. And it's no accident, I'm sure it's absolutely no accident. I had the privilege of meeting Eva and the amazing women who are behind this movement, female leadership in Angola. And make no mistake, yes, women are the ones who drive humanity. And yes, the road we are building is a road out of necessity. We build out of necessity, not because we don't like to just walk on a road. It's just simply because there is no road for women. That is the reality. In the last almost 10 years since this report was released on gender pay gap, not very much progress was recorded. 9 out of 10 people, which means men and women, hold a bias against women. And it's a very sad discovery, but doesn't mean we are not going to keep building this road, except that we have no tools apart from our own passion for making society a fairer place to be, a fairer place to build. Because, you know, when I was told that there are 217 years for me to wait, which means really if you calculate 15 years for each generation, there are many generations of, of women that need to suffer the same Eva did, or I did, or your mothers did, or your grandmothers did, or your sisters are still suffering. It is a lot of suffering in the world that we cannot ignore. And yes, we've been given just a fork. You want a road, take this fork and build a road. But we know there is everything we need and more to build this road together. We just, as Eva said so beautifully, all hands on deck. We need everyone to take part, absolutely everyone. And this is why we have the privilege of being here today with leaders of our society, men who believe in women, men who we really want us to understand what we need to change. Surely it's not us we need to change, because we've been providing life for hundreds of thousands of years. And imagine a world where there are no women. It's just somehow the world was designed by men for men. And we need to understand, if you could imagine, what is possible when women would be given the place they deserve in society. And make no mistake, don't think that just because we are born, all of us, we are all coming from Africa, means is no need to do more work. Is just a kind reminder that nobody is superior to you. I'm here to remind you that you are good as gold, and the way you see yourself is the way the world sees you. And if you are a woman there wondering, what are we talking about and why are we talking about gender equality when obvious there is no gender equality and it's unlikely that it's going to happen soon enough, I have to tell you, bring your fork. We need more forks like me and Eva and her team to build this road. The road is building, is moving places, going places we never even imagined before. And embracing the unknown is the only way forward. So thank you again for being here. And I have the privilege of introducing you um, the panel, the men who are brave enough to answer our questions. The questions we have are collected as the result of a survey we've done in the last month. And I might have a personal question as well, and I hope you don't mind, Eva. But I would love to invite the first panelist to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, Marina. Hello, Eva. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Benjamin. Please introduce yourself. Really grateful you are here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much for Angolan Women Leadership Initiative and for this first forum. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm an academic by trade, although I do perform other responsibilities in companies, either as a consultant or as an executive. I'm Angolan, based in Luanda. I work with many women Eva is one of them, a great partner, a great friend, a woman that has been inspiring all of us to talk about these issues, more than pretending that we are about to change everything at the same time. We, in partnership with Eva and in partnership with Women Leadership in Angola, we try as much as we can to establish a platform where a debate is open about what it means to be a woman in the workplace, what it means to be a woman leader in the workplace. We are lucky enough that in Angola in particular, maybe we see a different reality than in other geographies, where we see women like like Eva, who are able to drive change and to have this catalytic pursuit for human excellence, more than just talking about women in the workplace, women in leadership. It's about humanity, about how we as humans see ourselves, how we as humans share this planet, how we as humans share the economic impact that we are all here striving to do. So that's what I'm trying to do with my life. I'm the responsible for research at the Social Innovation and Incubation Center at Catholic University in Angola, and we with Women Leadership in Angola, we partnered for a study about women leaders, where a few weeks ago we just attributed the first awards for women with impact in the workplace. And yes, basically, I would say that that is a short introduction of myself.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Before we start asking the big questions, I would like to ask you, what is your relationship with your mother?
I've got a great relationship with my mother. Actually, I didn't say, but I'm also a writer, and there is a character in my latest book that references his own mother. And although it's not about my mother, mothers are the cradle of humanity. Women are the cradle of humanity. Something that also, as a Catholic, something that I try to have in my life is this essence that the womb of a woman is the birthplace of the universe. The womb of a woman is the Big Bang for humanity, for who we are as a species, for who we are as a being. So that I take great value in the mother that I have, because she did not only gave life to me, but she's a woman, a great leader as well. She's in education as well. I like to say that the reason why I'm a professor, why I'm at university, why I'm so engaged with education is because of my mother. She was a great executive here in Luanda, and then she decided to go back to her home place. So she lives outside of Luanda. She has a great private school in Wambu with almost 1,000 students. She's a woman who never believed in that idea that a woman can't do it. If you tell my mother that she can't do something, she will do it for sure, just to prove you're wrong. So I've got great relationship with my mother. I don't know if she would say the same, because as any good son, sometimes I don't call as much as I should. Sometimes I take longer to answer to a message than I should. But she's always in my heart. And when I look at my kids, I've got 3 daughters and 1 son. And when I look at my kids, I want them, especially my girls, I want them to be as defiant as my mother. Although as a parent, that's not always a good thing, but or an easy thing. It's a good thing, but not easy. So I want them to be like her. And well, and leaping forward, like I also have an amazing wife who is also an amazing mother. She's not my mother, but she's the mother of my kids, and she has not only my respect and my love, but she's a woman who also inspires me as a mother, as someone who cares for their kids. And I don't know how she has the patience that she has. So for those of us who are lucky enough to have mothers, we should and I try to do that, because not everyone is fortunate enough to have a mother, actually, or to have a mother for as long as I do. I still have a mother. I still am able to appreciate her. So yes, a mother is someone that is able to really inspire her kids to be who they are meant to be. So my mother inspired me and still inspires me to be who I am today.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. I'm really sorry your mother cannot make more sons like you. We need more like you. So thank you again. And the reason I ask is because it's so easy. It's so easy to overlook um, the source of you. And the more we remember that source and we celebrate ourselves, the more chances for this road to be built sooner. We don't need 217 years. Ask your mother. So thank you so much, Benjamin. That was a beautiful introduction into your private space, and I hope you didn't feel I intruded, but I know your book is absolutely phenomenal. I hope every household is going to have a copy one day, because is really teaching us to look within. Thank you again, Benjamin. Your Excellency, Manuel Ruma Paim, thank you so much for, I know you are very busy. Thank you so much for being here with us. Would you like to introduce yourself? Your mic is off. If you could switch your mic on, please. You need to switch your mic on. Looks like is off. Yes.
Okay, it's on now. It's the technical team.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can call me Kruma, Pain, Emmanuel. I'd rather drop the excellency or anything, because I think we're just in a very we're going to have a very important discussion. But my name is Emmanuel Krumapain. I'm an academic, and also I work, or I've been in the last few years involved with the social sector throughout some international organizations. Worked in the UK, and I'm working in Angola for the United Nations. And I have a very particular interest in terms of not just discussion, but in terms of issues related to gender empowerment and also the SDGs. Also, from the other side, I have an artistic side as well. Playwright involved in theatre performance, but here I am just more interested in have this very interesting discussion, and I'm very thankful to Liderança Feminina Special Rose for inviting me. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So for inviting me for this discussion, is always a pleasure to dedicate some times to provide our insights, our point of view, and if wherever I can to try and influence positively to some perceptions that we still have within our society.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. You know, to me, it's always a question of personal alignment. What do you think aligns you with female leadership movement?
Okay. I think when we use before even going to my personal alignment to the so-called movement, I think when we use the word movement, it politicized a little bit the discussion about the female leadership, because it shouldn't be it shouldn't be even a political debate. And I think on your introduction you used the terminology women should be given the space. Is not something that has to be given. I think it should be something very hybrid. It's about rights, and then we talk about rights. We are directly talking about how because we cannot live without our rights. I don't think it's about a movement. It's about something to be given. It should be something that actually should not be a discussion. Okay, and
But there
it
is.
shouldn't be pressurizing to have the rights because rights should not be given. Rights, they have rights. They should be there to be exercised. So, and like, it's okay for us to have this discussion because there is a long road to go. But personally, I think I feel not just inspired because I have a particular interest in terms of social issues, but personally, I was raised by a woman. I've lost my father very, very, very early, and I had a mother who was also a father. And when I grow up, to be honest with you, different than many other households, I never felt the difference between being either a male or having my cousins, because my mother treated us all equal. Whatever my cousins were doing at home in terms of domestic work, we would have to do. And, the equality starts from home. And then when we are thrown into the society and, we see all those disparities, and it just we can just not stay silent. And
do you think, Emmanuel, if I could just interfere with your train of thoughts for just a moment? So, as a child, adults look up to us, and they look up to us thinking that this child is going to be great, is going to do well. This child is going to be a doctor, a teacher, regardless if the child is a boy or a girl. And yet, we go into the system, into school, and we start to be socially conditioned that for certain industries, there are no uniforms for women, just for men. And we start to be socially conditioned that women, they might not be good enough to hold a leadership position. And yes, we are born rich. We are definitely born rich. We are all have the same starting point. And yet, it's going to take 200 years from now to fill, to close the gender pay gap. And yes, should be like oxygen, but it's not. And it's less and less of that oxygen, and women are facing real challenges into the workplace, at home, everywhere. And that's the reality. And you might not see it from your point of view, from your youth stand, but there are millions, hundreds of millions of women who do. And this is why we are here. And this is a movement because needs to move society into the right direction. And yesterday we celebrated, your organization actually initiated World Day of Social Justice. What are the benefits of World Day of Social Justice for women in Angola?
Okay, I wouldn't say just in Angola, but I believe that World Day of Social
We want to
Justice.
know about Angola because I believe this is the birthplace of a great transformational change. Yes, perhaps we forgot that 200 years ago we started B in Africa, but now we are going to remind everyone that Angola is on the map. With Eva, we do a lot of research and we looked where Angola is right now. It's very, very down the page when it comes to positioning Angolan women on the map. So is a movement. It's not just a chat we are having. We are going to make sure that the world understands and know better women from Angola and inspire women from other worlds and other and other countries that female leadership is, as you quite rightly said, a human right. And back to you, Emmanuel. Thank you. So let's talk about women in Angola because I really want to understand more. Thank you. Your mic is off. Please switch your mic on. We would like to hear what you are saying. Thank you. Yes.
He's back on. Okay, thank
Yes.
you. So, the World Social Days for Justice, I think, is a great reminder in Angola. Just before getting to the situation of the women in Angola, it's a great reminder that not just every year, but every day, we need to build a more fair and equitable society. So, because social justice is based on the values of fairness, equality, respect for diversity, and access to social protection, especially for women in Angola. The aspect of social protection and the application of human rights first in life, including at the workplace, this is a challenge, and it's well known that in Angola statistically we have over 55%
We
of the
lost you
population
there, Emmanuel.
it's well known that in Angola we need to keep advocating, using okay, to foster the movement of advocacy for the advancement of the social justice and make the social justice a central point in terms of guiding all national and international policy in the context of Angola, the national policy and local policy. So, and I think there are many challenges that women in Angola are facing, and those dates should not just be a celebration. We should just be celebrating as the day, the World Day of Social Justice, especially in Angola. It's always an opportunity for advocacy. It's always an opportunity, just like Eva is doing with the event today, to put into the discussion table, to put into the main agenda issues related to women. For example, is also an opportunity for us to have all the society to stand against social injustice. So it's well known that in Angola, statistically, we have over 55% of the population is composed by women. So, and we cannot create a better society if you don't address social issues, and the gender issue is on the table. So, it's very important for Angola and any other society. So, let us make our society stronger with social justice for women and for all.
Thank you so much. I hear you, and I know in England, for instance, last year, 74% of the women who were invited for promotion declined the invitation to be promoted. They refused to be promoted. So that tells me a lot about social conditioning. And if this is happening in London, I just wonder what is happening in Angola. I would like to know how women living in Angola could take advantage of the United Nations projects and grants available for gender diversity, for gender
Okay.
equality.
So, speaking from my other side, which is the UN, which in no way I'm not representing the United Nations here. Uh,
Why not?
my
Why not?
perspective is
Why not? Why not? Why not?
because officially there is a representative for ever individual agents within the UN system. I'm an officer for the United Nations, but I can give you my personal and professional opinion in relation to it, and I can even share some information related to some initiatives that the UN has in terms of gender. Every single agents operating in Angola, and UN has to 27 now. We'll have 27 agents operating in Angola. They all have one pillar which we call the gender pillar. All the programs implemented through or via the UN, it has the gender perspective. So in terms of the
Just
organization,
one
for
quick
example,
question. Quick question. How many women in Angola? Do you know the
uh,
figures?
how many women in Angola?
Yeah.
According to the last census and the projections, if I'm right, the national population in terms of women, it was 55. It was over 55% women
Yes, but
in
how
Angola.
many actual women? Okay. So I want you just to divide that figure, whatever that might be, to
So the
27 agents.
population, well, in the last census, the total population of the country was around 27 million. With the projection, we are over 31 million, and 55% of this number are women. So doing the maths, I think if we're talking about 55%, we should have at least 17 million with the new projections, women, and perhaps 14 or 15 million male. So
Okay, so if we divide that by 27 agents, so
by 27,
agents, right? So you are saying that every agent is going to help around 629,000 women, right?
no,
So,
no, no, no,
okay.
no, no.
So I'm
What
looking at
I'm
the
saying,
practicality here because women want to know what is available for them because there are spaces they can't enter. There are doors that are closed in front of them. Right when they thought they could enter that door, the door is closing. And I just want you to consider what is possible when we really focus on helping women. Not reminding them that they have the right to be successful, but the fact that they are recognized for giving life, for bringing life, for keeping humanity going. This is my call to you. So you don't need to answer this, but the
oh no,
question
no, no.
was about,
I would like to comment on that. I would like to
yeah,
comment
because
on that.
the question was about um, actual steps, practical steps women in Angola could take right now to better themselves.
To better themselves.
Yes.
I think we are in a collective action, and I'm really glad that Eva invited us. And I think we had this conversation, and she said that she would want to have a panel made up of men, because I believe this is not only a movement. This is not only a responsibility of women. I think it's a responsibility of all society, men and women, ensure that equality towards women, gender equality, is actually achieved. It has to be promoted and achieved within the Angolan society. So I think the question about specific steps that women will need to do in order to have their rights, I think this is more related to your question. Specific space, or you asking about my organization, what the organization is actually doing in terms of women empowerment?
No,
I
I
just
asked
didn't.
what are the projects and grants available for women in Angola?
Okay, projects and grants available. I don't think I would be the right person to say, or to measure it up, because the work of the organization that I'm linked with, he has a cross-cutting intervention in terms of gender, and as I've mentioned, in all of our projects and initiatives, it's all focused on the gender. So I would say that in 99.9% of our initiatives are gender balanced.
Thank you so much,
And in
Emmanuel.
terms, okay, yeah.
Thank you so much. Really grateful. I'm really pleased and very happy to introduce our latest panel member. Thank you so much, Bob Andron. It's 5 o'clock in the morning for him where he lives, but he showed up. So thank you so much, Bob. Would you like to introduce yourself? You okay? Yes. There is no sound. No, there is no sound. um, I don't know what is happening. But we are going to come back to you, Bob, and we are going to invite Benjamin to take the next question. Thank you so much. Self-expression and communication in gender equality. You are a master, a maverick of words. Tell us, what is the role of self-expression and communication in gender equality? Your mic is off.
I would like to have a step back. I love your passion about gender, and I love your passion about wanting to understand how Angola works better. And I would agree with you. As an academic, I'm always very careful when we talk about gender equality. I like to talk about humanity, human rights. It's about humanity. I don't discriminate between men or women. I like to talk about humans. And as you very rightly said, Angola is a very particular geographical space on the planet Earth. What do I mean by this? We have a finance minister who is a woman. We have a first lady who is a very strong woman who served as an economic technician in world organizations. We've got many women in positions of leadership. Our stock exchange chairwoman is a woman. We've got someone like Eva who drives not only women, but men like me, myself, Emmanuel, and Bob to be here today and to have this chat. So in Angola, when we talk about gender, we need to be careful. Why do I say this? Because Angolan women are very strong women. They're very driven women. They're not weak by any means. So when we talk about women in Angola, and both historically, we had the queen who was a woman. I believe that you're talking from England, who had the longest serving royal person ever, who was also a woman. And although 70% of women in the UK decide not to be promoted, it's not because they did not have a queen who was a woman. I use Princess Diana as an example in my classes. I'm professor of business ethics at Catholic University. And when people see what that woman did, who died at the age of 36 or 37, I believe, and we still today remember what she did for the world in showcasing what a real woman, a real royal person is supposed to be, a real royal human being, someone who is in a privileged position, what is the impact that she's supposed to have on planet Earth. People are still surprised, and she died like 30 years ago, something like that. So when I look at Angola, and I teach at Catholic University of Angola as well, not as well, but it's where I teach. And our current rector is the first woman. We have a sister who is the rector of Catholic University, and she's a woman. The vice rector is a woman at Catholic University as well. So when we look at Angolan spectrum, and when we look at when we talk about gender, we need to recognize that we are in a particular space. Also, something that is very, very important when we think about Angola is that in the entrepreneurship monitor rankings, Angola, as many underdeveloped countries, are in the top places of the ranking. Why? Because countries that are developing, they require people to find their own solutions for their economic struggles. So they end up being more entrepreneurial than in places where the economy is already established. And in the case of Angola, as Emmanuel said, women drive entrepreneurship in Angola as well. Because they are mothers who know that their kids need to eat, so they go out, they fight, they struggle, so that they are able to provide for their family. Also in agriculture, for example, women are also the drivers of Angolan agriculture for the same reasons. Namely that 70% of Angolan agriculture is rural, and women also drive this sector in Angolan agriculture, because they are the ones who go to the field, they plant, they sow, and they provide for the self-sufficiency of their families. So all, and then going to your question, what's the role of self-expression of women in Angola? I believe that initiatives like the one that Heva has and the few others that came about, because the former CEO of the Angolan Markets Commission, she's also a woman. She's not there anymore, but she also founded an organization that is, I think, called 360 Booth, I believe, that is wanting to empower women entrepreneurs in Angola. Also, a woman is the founder of Angolan startup companies. She's also a woman. And so these women are doing an amazing job, not only in creating these spaces for reflection, discussion, debate, talks, but also inviting us, men, to be a part of this, understanding that we are all one. Because when I go home, I am with my wife. When Eva goes home, she's with her husband. So we cannot, as a society, discuss women or men or these roles as a sign without this concept of a larger society. Something that is very, very important is that culturally, Angola is a country, let's say, that although we have these strong women, although we do have these historical figures, although we do have these current executives from the finance minister to other organizations, although we have this, we do, of course, feel that more on a social role, that men still behave in a way that I would say does not represent appropriately the dignity, the godness-like essence of women, meaning that women, they should not be idolized as gods, of course, but they shall be seen as playing a different role than men do, a different role in the sense of men are brutal, men are physical, men are we can also be ingenuous, like Emmanuel or I, who are writers and painters, and be artistic, or Bob, architects, and we can have this delicate side. We can be the Da Vinci's of life. We can be technicians or engineers and all these things. But there is something in the essence of a woman that shall be praised, that shall be exalted as an essence without which humanity will default.
Wow, Benjamin, thank you so much for that. I was really looking forward to hear from you and Emmanuel. It's all about possibilities, right? And I think the next question is, what are the possibilities available for women in Angola to express themselves and communicate their ideas? I don't know if you know, but Eva started a trend. She launched a book called My Book is Your Book. And in that book, there is space for other women and men to share their story, to create their own chapter, to rewrite their story. So this is something I want to see more. This is something that I don't think she received any support from anyone. She's using her fork, and is necessary to bring these possibilities into social awareness. How many people know about her book? And how many people know that Emmanuel said it so beautifully? You are born rich. How many people can remember that when the bills are piling up, when there is so much pressure from um, your commitments that were made before you even were born? Because there is a social conditioning that guides everything. And we like it or not, it's time to change, not to change ourselves, because we are gifted. We already have everything and more that we need. We just need to change the way we see ourselves. to see the possibilities of celebrating each other, men and women working together, the two facets of the same coin. We are not valid without each other. We don't have to understand your worth or my worth unless we accept that together we could create something that is no longer a luxury, is a necessity, and that is gender equality. So thank you so much, Benjamin. The question was, what are the possibilities for women in Angola?
I think they are endless, but no, I think they are endless, but with a big but. Um, but it's also a matter of in Angola we have as I mentioned, and as academic at the center we do a lot of economic research, so we do have a not a typical society, meaning, well, it is and it isn't at the same time. We, like the whole world, we have a inverted pyramid, meaning that although we do have many women in positions of power, we also have then the bottom up. So and it's something that we know from other geographies and other studies, which is that women in the workplace are more relatable to men. So what does this mean? It means that currently the workplace is a place where masculinity, and when I speak about masculinity, I don't mean being a man actually, but having these traits of being colder, less affectionate, less into what people feel, more goal-oriented, objective-oriented, looking at people less as people and more as resources. This sort of world that we live in creates a space where masculinity traits are more valued. So it's something that when women go into the workplace, they naturally adopt to the norms of that social context. So I would say that there is Angola. I wouldn't look at Angola as a place where barriers of entry for women are an impediment for professional success. I would say that the real barrier is that once, and one of my favorite books is by Professor Paulo Freire, that is the Pedagogy of the Oppressed, that talks about this as well. Once you enter a social context where the norms are already established, the most probable consequence will be that you will adapt to the rules of that same context. Meaning, if a woman enters the workplace, she will start to adapt to what that context demands from her, and she will make choices like any other professional. So I believe that the way forward is that, and I believe that Angola is on the right path in that sense, is that more women create more spaces where men don't feel threatened like today, where we are all able to talk about these challenges, where we are all able to share our fears, our delicacies, our intuitive knowledge about what it is to be a man or a woman in the workplace, and that we move forward. I remember last year at the anniversary of the 4th anniversary of Women Leadership, Angolan Women Leadership Initiative. I was there, and I was the only man there. It was scary in a room filled with 200 people. And the first thing that I said once I got up there to talk to the few men, 5, 6, 7 men, the husbands, the courageous husbands of the women who were kind enough to invite them, I told them, please stand with me, because so there are places where men are a minority, here in Angola at least, but we are a very welcomed minority, and I believe that those of us who truly believe in the future and want to create better workplaces, a better society, we also want to do the same. We want women, when they feel that they are in the lesser number in the room, that they also feel welcomed.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. That is really about considering the world we create. It's what we make of it. And well, a lot of women could say right now, and I hope we are going to receive some messages from them. Well, I wish I was a minority like you are. But I would love to use this moment to introduce uh, Bob again. Hopefully, we can hear you, Bob. Please
Can you hear
introduce
me?
yourself. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Please introduce yourself. We don't have much left, so
It's okay. Uh, I
thank you.
I love listening to both gentlemen. It's Benjamin and Emmanuel. It's hard to know where to start or where to end. I am an architect. I was born Jewish. I accepted Christ later. I've been a minority, and a minority. I was in Liberia, and there were about 300 mostly black women, and I spoke to them about a year ago. And at the end, three chiefs came up in front of me and said, "Close your eyes, put out your arms," and I did. And when I opened my eyes, I had a billy goat in my arms, and they appreciated what I was saying. And uh, having been born Jewish and um, knowing what it means to be a minority, and in a time when in the government, when I worked in the government back in the 80s and 90s, uh, the women and the Jews were really not paid any attention to as a group.
But because we have very little time left, I would really like to ask you this question. What
Okay.
is what is it men are missing to see in the social architecture in relation to female leadership? I repeat the question. What is it men are missing to see in the social architecture in relation to female leadership?
Men don't realize how valuable and important and essential women are to their lives, to their families, to family. It's kind of obvious, anyone who just keeps his eyes open, but or her eyes open. But I want to tell a story that very quickly I think can answer this. The story that everybody knows in the Bible is that God created man, and then He put man to sleep, and then a piece of man he made into woman, and then that was the end. And then he went to rest. What they don't realize is the perspective of that picture. The perspective of that picture is God said, man, when He thought about the man He had created, He said, man is good, not bad, good. But then He made it better. He made woman. Then He was able to rest, and not until. When people recognize the value of women in the nurturing of our society, the nurturing of people, all of the great people like Martin Luther King and James Baldwin, they all had incredible mothers who nurtured them to bring out their truest nature and to become the men that they became. It was because of the way they were brought up. And that is what a mother does. The nurturing of their nature is what women can do and men have no clue about. They we do our best to understand, but women have so much power, but they don't even sometimes recognize it themselves. But men don't recognize the value that women can bring to any table. I can tell you this one last thing. Of all the people and all the architects in history, all of them, the greatest architect to this day was a woman named Dame Zaha Hadid. She became a dame. She is called the queen of the curves. Men are great at building things up, back and forth, up and down. Women do curves. That's what makes something beautiful. Everything else is organized to be essential, to make a lot of money. But if you just want something to be beautiful, give it to a woman to design, because that is where the real nature and the excitement of any creation comes out. It's not enough to make a lot of money. It's not enough to do all of these other things to enhance your life. Let a woman do it. And I say that just in general. So many of the things that especially Emmanuel said about what you've been doing in Angola is terrific. I wish we had more of that in America.
Maybe it's time to bring it to America, right? This is my thinking.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Bob. And Manuel, I know we are running out of time, but I really have to ask you this question because it's a question that it's a lot of people voted for. What represents female leadership, and how can you support it as a man? Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So the question for all of you is, what represents female leadership, and how can you support it as a man?
Okay. First of all, female leadership, in a very simple term, for me means a progressive society. It means having a progressive society. And as a man, and I will give in terms of the Angolan contest. I think there are so many challenges that women face in Angola, different and comparing to other countries. I know that you ask, and I will try to be very brief. I know that you ask about the possibility of women having public space to express themselves, to speak up, and so on and so forth. I don't think this is a big challenge in Angola because, in terms of community, the space is there to be used. But for me, the challenge are more cultural and structural. So, and I think that's where our work should be moving towards, and also within our own households, because there are so many prejudicial norms and cultural practices that are actually stopping women from achieving their full potential. Because we've been fostering this from home. I will bring a very practical example, and if we have women in the audience, maybe it's for reflection. It's a very simple thing, but it has a big impact. For example, if we have kids, boys and girls at home, how can we foster, for example, how can we are very sometimes a bit blinded to it. You may have, for example, the lad or the boy playing football outside, and then you have the little girl doing domestic work. It may, we may not pay enough attention, but those are strong signs that we are sending to men. We are sending to society. And then when that little child, for example, grows up, so his perception will be completely different because that's how he has been brought up. First of all, we need to start in some ways as a man, and then I think as a society. First of all, we need to start breaking those cultural practice and bringing into perspective and into reflections. And the other thing is understanding also the challenge that women face. And I'm talking about adolescents, I'm talking about young girls, for example. They don't have the same opportunities as the boys while going through school. For example, I don't think we have specials in terms of a advisor structure, in terms of making sure that we keep little girls in school. Because, for example, when the period starts, girls don't have the same treatment. They don't have the same opportunity as men. Men don't have period, and most girls normally will be dropping out of school, and that's when the main issues for me starts. I'm talking about the context of Angola. It's more about the opportunities. It's more about cultural beliefs. It's more about those little practices that we have in terms of family and environment, and also there is a social construct when it comes to women empowerment. There is a social construct that the place of women, for example, is we use the term zungero, is in the informal market. Is in the informal market. So we are building this in the society. I know there is a big disparity with London, with in many other societies, even Muslim countries. But the issues in Angola are issues that, if we don't go a little bit beyond the normal structures, it will be very difficult to spot because everything seems to be normal. But what the main issue is to do with the mindset and the social construct that we have in terms of legislation, policy, and everything. I think we have all sort of legislation to support, but the mindset, the family structure, this is the main challenge, because the challenge is about the those construct. And I think as a man, and I think we have a lot of work to do within family, within the workplace. Personally, I think we should at least have more work and life balance, because we know that women have more obligations, have more pressure put up on at work. And then when they return home, the expectation is that they should be dealing with domestic work. So, and then if you don't find this balance, it's going to be really difficult to create an environment in which women can thrive, in which we can talk about equality, because it's not only about equality, it's about equity, it's about making the opportunities fair. Is about creating the environment in which women can thrive. And I think in the case of Angola, there is a lot of work that we can do, and it's more about introspection, thinking about it, and act upon it. So this is my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Very compelling. And I think you are absolutely right. Everything starts with you, and everything starts at home. And these boys and girls that we love so much, if we really love them, we let them play together and cook together. So thank you so much, Emmanuel. That was absolutely beautiful. Same question for you, Benjamin. What female leadership represents for you, and how you support it as a man?
Yes, I may be a bit controversial uh, in the
Good.
sense that I believe that true equity begins with allowing women to express themselves as they are. Some women want to be mothers and they want to have 5, 6, 7 kids. Some women want to be highly trained and skilled executives. And I believe that as Emmanuel very well said, these social contracts that we have right now, it demands them to be either or. Either be a stay-at-home mom or be a highly skilled executive. When in fact it is this the fact that women are the bearers of humanity's future should allow them to make these choices. But in the sense of men and how I support women leaders is actually we have to stop not stop. Let me put this on a positive note. We have to value women in such a way that they don't feel as if they are lesser than because they are a stay-at-home mom. We should honor these women who decide to take care of their kids, who decide that to have time for their kids, who decide to raise their family, to be there for them, to nurture them. So we need to value these women. And as a society, we cannot say that a man is better because he goes to work and a woman is lesser because she doesn't. No. In fact, maybe it's the other way around. A woman who is able to raise a family, to raise her kids, to give them love, to make them people who value themselves, who value others, who nurture others, who are protectors of others. It's such a beautiful thing that I believe that we, and as Emmanuel very well said, here in Angola, we don't value enough these mothers who are able to, in a society as dysfunctional as ours is, to be able to still raise caring kids and kids who are protective of others and loving of others, to protect their own brothers, their friends. So I try the best as I can to listen to women. And as you mentioned, Eva's book, and I'm very proud of that book that she wrote, because it's a book that is not only for women but also for men, and is a book that opens this door of who are you, who do you want to be. So my standpoint, and because I'm not a woman, and I make it very clear that I will never be able to put myself in the shoes of a woman. I try as best as I can to be a good listener. You know? I'm not saying that I am, but I try as best as I can to be a good listener, to try to understand what the struggles, the real struggles are that women have, instead of assuming that I know. Because I'm a professor, because I study things, that I know what women go through. No, I don't. That's my role. That's all that I try to do, is be there, be listen as much as I can, and as much as I'm able to be able to be a supporter of of their own objectives.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. So, listening. I wish there were as many programs about listening as there are for speaking. There are many speaking programs, but I never heard of a listening program. So, thank you so much for that, Benjamin. Maybe we create one together. So, you know, it's so much passion in this room. And I know we are perhaps going to be penalized for not using the time as planned, as we are um, perhaps outside our time. But I'm still going to ask Bob the same question, and I'm going to come back with a final question when I'm going to invite you all to give us um, your top tips for female leadership. So, Bob, back to you. What
Okay.
is leadership for you, and how you
I
support it as a man? As a
listening
man,
to listening to Benjamin and Emmanuel. I think Angola is way ahead of America.
I
I
agree.
think I
I
think you're
agree.
doing really, really well. I wish we were doing as
I
well.
think America needs to get to know Angola more, and we have to
Yes.
find a solution to bring the spirit of Angolan men and women into America, and just collide those uh, inner powers, because it's the only way we can build this road. Only together we can build this road towards gender equality.
One thing Benjamin said reminded me of the fifth habit that was written in a very famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's people, not men, not women, people. And that is seek to understand and then to be understood. And that's exactly what Benjamin was saying, to listen, to understand where they're coming from, and then to uh, be able to be understood. That's one thing. It what's amazing, briefly, in the history of America, slaves became free in 1867. It was fifth, and they were able to vote in 1867. Only men. Women were not allowed to vote until 1917, 50 years later. That tells you something about the human condition, where men have become the brutal leaders. They and I won't go into that. I think we all know what I'm talking about. Women have the softer touch and can lead far better. I love to watch Wonder Woman in the movie when she leads the whole army up to the
It's
fight.
happening, Bob. We
I
like it or
know,
not, it's happening.
I know. And in 1943, Wonder Woman comic books. Now, I was brought up with comic books. I'm an architect. I draw. That's how I started. In 1943, the cover of a Wonder Woman comic book said, maybe in 1,000 years, there'll be a female president in the United States.
I remember that. Yes.
Maybe. I, it's
There is no
crazy.
maybe. We all know. It's yes or no. So
Angola is way ahead of us. When I gave the example of Dame Zaha Hadid, she, when I went to school, there were 500 people, freshmen, who came into School of Architecture. This is 1963. 7 were women. 1 was black. The rest were white men. That's the way it was back then. That's not the way it is now. The times are changing. It is getting better. It's about humanity. It's not just about men or women. It's about humanity. And women nurture and shape the quality of the men and the women, their children, to become great leaders. That's where it starts. So the power is with the women in the very beginning. It's all there. And they just have to recognize it. We all have to, and we have to, men have to recognize how powerful and amazing they are. It turns out my wife, who I married 52 years ago, her aunt was a woman named Kate Smith. Kate Smith was the greatest singer in the first half of the last century in America. She's the one that sang God Bless America. She's the one that supported black people and did the first telethon ever to raise money on behalf of World War II. She was a woman leader. People tuned into her every day. It's a woman. This was my wife's aunt. This is stuff what we're talking about is not just talk. This is what women do for men. This is what women do for humanity. And the power is there. They only have to recognize how much power they have and do what they do naturally.
Thank you so much, Bob. That's really powerful. And yes, we have a last question. But I would like to say that you see what Eva does and her team. She is a destination worth reaching. You know, it's no question about. And we together we know that sharing your story changes your story. We don't want anyone to change. I think you are perfect the way you are. I think you are rich and powerful, and sometimes silence was chosen over voice simply because you've been socially conditioned not to say your say, not to lead, just stay in line, and all the rest of it that I'm not going to go into right now. So I'm thinking, because I love listening to you guys. You are absolutely amazing leaders yourselves. And I would like to ask you, what are the 3 top tips you could give us, share with us women, so we can navigate this social landscape better and find our own North Star. Over to you, Emmanuel. Your mic is off. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
is
you
it
are
on
on.
now? Yeah, because I have to wait for the technical. Okay, 3 top picks. I can resume these, and I will pick three words. The first one is keep on. Keep on is the keep on is about keeping the vision and not giving up your right, because it's a right, and it's not even debatable. It's not a favor. It's not a given. So if it's a right, it's to be exercised and is to be taken. And then the second, my second biggest pick that I would do in terms of I would say in terms of supporting this is keep on embracing, because um, this and I'm gonna have to use your words now. Yeah, this movement is not exclusive. It's embracing. For example, I feel embraced, and I shouldn't feel embraced, because it should come natural. As I said earlier on, I feel embraced to be here. I feel embraced to be discussed this, because I feel part of this discussion. So because and I think this comes naturally, because you are natural leaders. And then if you look at the more prosperous nations in the world, especially in Scandinavia or even New Zealand, they have been led by women. And And I wish, especially in my continent, we should have more women leading the nation, because it has already been scientifically proven that the women leadership is the way forward, because there is always this embracing thing, is the ubuntu, is the general, they don't think just for themselves. It's more about us and not about me. So, and that will be the second thing. It will be the embracive one. And the third one, without being philosophic, is keep on planting, because women are seed, and then there is nothing made by God that can multiply as women can do. If you give them 10,000, they will probably give you 15,000, and then if you give them 20,000, so and my pick would be about keep on multiplying. And if women is compared to love, women is the meaning of love. So we would be more than grateful to receive this love through women. So keep on planning.
Wow.
So
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Lots of love to your family from all of us. And hopefully, we'll have you for an interview for Rich Man Magazine or any of our publication where you like, where you feel in alignment with. Thank you so much again, Emmanuel. Benjamin, your turn.
Yeah, hard to follow up on what Jane Manuel just said.
Powerful,
Um,
powerful.
yes, but trying to be as humble as I can. I would say that don't try to be man. Don't lose
Yeah.
who you are. Don't lose your femininity. Uh, and know yourselves. Know what you actually want as women, not what the world tells you that you are. Would be the second one. And the third one might be uh, strive for greatness always. You know? Strive for human excellence. Strive to be all that you were born to be, despite whatever anyone may tell you. Just be as the person that you were born to be, I would say.
Wow. Wow, Benjamin. You are really a maverick of words. I I can't wait for your next book. Thank you so much again,
Thank you.
Benjamin.
Thank you.
And Bob,
Thank you.
um, your tips. What are your free top tips?
My wife, my wife had a heart attack in Thanksgiving about 3.5 months ago, and she's recovering right now, and very well. And I've learned, because I live at home. I'm 78 years old. I am the head of my company, architecture, but I have had to act like a woman. What does that mean? I've had to be 100% of my time be Susie's nurse, to take care of her, to help her, to do cooking, to do so many things that I don't think about otherwise. 100% of my time to do that. It also takes 100% of my time to be a housekeeper, to take care of the house, to make sure the groceries are here, the laundry, all of those things. And the third thing is I'm running a business completely, 100% of my time. Only a woman knows how to do 300% of her time perfectly. And everything has to be done. Men, they just spend their time, they're figuring out how to make more money, how to dominate, and they're figuring out. Women are listening. They're learning. They're learning how to work with, how to help other people. And it's about humanity working together and each one using their best experiences. So the three things are that we have to, men have to learn how to be more like women. Women don't have to learn how to be more like men. They just have to be Nani's favorite phrase, just be you. That's it.
Wow, Bob. For me, there are only two words. For other people, are many more words. For me, just be you. And um, just, you know, we are wishing your wife um, full recovery. We hope that she will recover and she'll be herself soon. We know she's been behind your success all her life.
Yep.
And we are very grateful for her supporting you. But now we are thinking that there is that old phrase, behind every successful man is a good woman. We want to change that. Behind every successful woman, there is female leadership in Angola. I want you to take this with you and remember to come back tonight at 17 Angola time when our beautiful leader, Eva Rosa Santos, and um, her uh, ambassador from Portugal, uh, Paula Delgado, who is an absolutely amazing happiness leader. She is leading us into happiness, and please read their articles in our publications. Um, the webinar is about how to successfully lead diversity and inclusion. It's a tall order, right? But if anyone can do it, it's those two women, because they will be moderated by Paula Delgado, from Ambassador of Female Leadership in Angola, from Portugal, and spread the word. You know that sharing your story changes your story and the future of those you love. With this, I would like to thank you again, gentlemen. You've been absolutely amazing. And just know we are here for you. Thank you. Goodbye.